And we're back for episode 23 of the CMB Sports Show, the Michael Jordan year, I guess Michael Jordan episode. 23 like Miley. That's what we'll call it. The Miley Cyrus episode.
Yeah, the Miley Cyrus episode. I like that. I think she made 23 famous anyways.
She did. Nobody even knew anything about 23 till she put it on the map.
No doubt, her and Wiz Khalifa.
Those OGs.
Goated.
I think there's probably like, you know what? Honestly, the way Miley stands are, I wouldn't be shocked if more people relate 23 to Miley than Jordan.
I mean, probably Draymond Green, too.
You think Draymond's got some stands out there?
I mean, he might.
Some Draymond ride or dies?
You know, I would hate to meet that person. They're probably the most toxic friend in the friend group. Definitely.
They're definitely the worst people in the world. They're probably all serial killers.
Oh, yeah. Like, nobody invites them to their vacations, like, at all.
Because they're like predators.
Yeah, and like, you know,
don't want to mind your kids.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like dropping F-bombs in front of your kids and, you know, talking about who knows what. running into people begging to fight. Yeah.
Then just not even cleaning their hands off, just like wiping it all over your couch.
Yeah, you just see them wiping it. And they're like,
just honey barbecue
Classic.
all over his white shirt. We had a good discussion today in our group chat talking about second baseman. So we're going to tie that into today's show, talk about the 8 best second basemen in the MLB. And unfortunately, the other people in that conversation from our group message are not going to be happy with this list.
Not going to be
just
happy.
Because once you dive into all the numbers from everybody, like some of these people that feel like they're top 5 or top 3, they're really not. There are a lot
really
of guys kind of hidden in the shadows that aren't put in the spotlight that are just raking.
Definitely.
We've got some Tennessee stuff, some UFC stuff, and then, of course, baseball.
Yeah,
I'll kick it off with a fun fact for you for baseball.
What you got?
Did you know that today, if the Yankees could have lost to the Orioles, the Red Sox, the Boston Red Sox, would have been in last place in the AL East?
Oh, man, I really wish the Yankees would have done it. I really do. You know how cool
we
that
just
would have
don't
been?
know how to lose, to be honest.
I mean, it's you know, it's an all right problem, I guess.
But it would have been hilarious because I don't know where Red Sox fans get this stigma of they're just like warriors in the playoffs and like the Yankees just stink in the playoffs. So the Yankees have had 2017, 2018 were elite years for the Yankees.
Yeah.
Like played in the ALCS twice, both years, and then got beat by 2 teams that were cheating. So
Exactly.
congrats.
Exactly. Dude, one thing, talk about the cheating. Sorry, I know I'm interrupting you, but it has to be addressed. And no, like they can't get away with this. The Houston Astros having this hype video about how it's like always the Astros beating the Yankees. And then they have the audacity to show like every big hit from the ALCS in 2018, 2017. And when Altuve hit the home run off a stand, and like you were caught cheating that year. Like you were caught cheating. You were caught. It's not speculation. It's not a maybe they were cheating. They were caught cheating. And they have the audacity to drop this hype video before the Astros come in and like, oh, the no-hitter in the Bronx. Altuve hits another bomb in the Bronx. And you didn't even win the series. Have a loser mentality one time. Like, oh my gosh, that's awful. That's embarrassing as a franchise.
Yeah, the Altuve clip is like the most damning evidence that we had to catch them for cheating. And it's the one that's shown on repeat where everyone in the park knew they were cheating. Everybody on the field knew they were cheating. To where even Chapman, it's that famous picture of him smiling like he knew. The
He's just
TikTok sound, like he knows.
yeah,
Like y'all are
he's
cheating.
just sitting there laughing.
You don't hit this pitch normally. Like
No.
nobody does.
He just barrel hooks.
But yeah, they're
a slider high and out. Like that's normal. He knew that.
yeah, right after seeing 103, and I got those 88-mile-an-hour slider on the black, and you're just sitting on it.
Don't make sense, man. I hate it. I hate him. The only one I like for
they're
that team is
delusional
Alex
too.
Bregman. He can do whatever he wants, but everybody else.
Yeah, I was huge on Bregman, but I don't know. I still feel like that just tainted it for me.
I'm with him. I'm a ride or die for Bregman. Everybody else I don't like.
I don't hate him, but he'll have to earn my love back.
He's just my dog, man. I don't know. He was a dog at LSU. Like, I've seen him do it without cheating. So, like, I know he's good. Like, I can respect his game. And he's short and bald-headed, plays third base. What's not to like?
And he's just got that gritty feel to him.
Yeah.
Like, he's the guy that's going to grind out at bats.
Yeah, definitely.
But you want to do the top 8 first or last?
Sorry, my beard's scraping up this mic. Anyways, let's go ahead and do the top 8. Let's go ahead and do the top 8 while it's fresh on the mind.
Top 8 second baseman. The most random thing y'all could have thought of for us to talk about today, but somehow it got brought up in the group chat today. It got brought up because of Ozzie Albies. Somebody made a hot take saying Albies wasn't top 3, I think is the statement, which is 100% true.
Right. Yeah, and that is true. But I want him to be top 3. Could he be top 3? Does he have the talent to be top 3? I think so. He's fast. He plays a good second base. He hits from both sides of the plate. He's really good from the right side, but he didn't crack my top 5 when I really sat down, looked at the stats. You want to start at 1 and go down, or start at 8 and go up?
What do you think? We start 1. We'll do it backwards this time.
Yeah, let's just start from the top. I think ours is pretty similar, anyways. But my number 1 is Marcus Semien. I think he has been for probably the past 3 years. He was with the A's, so if you haven't heard of him, that's probably why. But also, if you haven't heard of him, Google him and check his salary. It's going to be a lot higher than whatever you make. And he's pretty good. He's well deserving. So, like, I think last year we looked at it. It was like his WAR was like 6.6, which is kind of a made up stat. But just know that like everybody else was in the 4s, so it's very impressive.
Yeah, if you're above 1, you had a good year. Like being in the 4s is a really good year. Being in the 6s is crazy. Yeah, but that's what got him the bag. Like you said, he got paid. He's also my number 1. He could play shortstop for some teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is really the weird part about second base is because most of these guys are shortstops like growing up, and then they get to the pros, and they're just not as good as one other guy on the team.
Yeah.
So they go to second. So, like maybe even the best second baseman might be like not even a top 30 shortstop.
Yeah. No, that's true. And like, I mean, I feel like that's true for a lot of people. Like, not to like give any names away on the list, but like just like Glaber is probably a shortstop, but is better at second just because it's just not as challenging. It has its own challenges, but it's not as it's more, I don't really know how to describe it. Shortstop, you just have to be a freak, like, honestly, to play in the bigs. You just have to be a freak. And second base isn't as demanding athletically as it is like technique and almost like creativity, because you just have to make weird throws, like from weird angles. But I mean, like, and like another example, like Bregman is he was a shortstop all the way through college, got drafted as a shortstop, and then comes up, and Carlos Correa is playing there, so he plays third, and he ends up being a really good third baseman. So I don't know. But yeah, you're right. Like it is a lot of shifted over shortstops who just kind of thrive there, or are more defensive.
It's different in the pros to where it's that way, but like in high school or college, when a lot of teams are playing small ball, like second's going to be one of your more athletic guys. Just because you got to, guy on first, one out, you got to cover the bunt. You could be covering first on a bunt and second on a double play in the same play, or a steal or something like that.
Cut the distance down on both, It's always tough.
It's nearly impossible to do. But in the pros, you don't see many bunts. You don't see many teams playing small ball. So, yeah.
I mean, that's why you have
number
like
2
Max
for
Muncy
me.
playing second, just big old fatties.
He's probably a first baseman.
If that. Just a DH.
DH. Catcher. 2 for me, we're probably on the same one, is Altuve. Like, he's just been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
He rakes. He's a cheater. He's a scumbag. He's a jerk. He's an awful dad. He's probably a horrible teammate. He's somebody TSA should pat down 7 or 8 times when he comes through. He's probably the most unliked guy at the party. He was cheating. He was wiretapped, had the beeper. I mean, top 5 least favorite people on the planet.
Yeah, he definitely has earned my respect, though, just because, like, he's pretty unbothered by pretty much everything. And he doesn't care. Like, he just goes out and hits. Like, he just gets hits. He gets on base. And he swings an absolute massive bat. But he has a pretty cool story. I can't remember what country he's from. But, like, he just, like, begged for a tryout or begged to play on this team. Like, they were like, "No, man, you're too small. Like, you're not going to make it." And then he finally gets a chance, makes the team, comes to America, does really well, works his way up, and then obviously now he's a Astros legend. And, I mean, I hope he's never in the Hall of Fame, but, he could be, I guess. Potentially.
There's no way. If they're keeping roided people out, there's no way they put any of the Astros in there.
He never even was suspended.
True.
I mean, if
the Astros go in, if Jose Altuve gets in the Hall of Fame and Barry Bonds is not in there,
dude, I will
riot. It'll be January 6th all over again.
Dude,
we'll be all up in Cooperstown with the mask on and everything.
Oh, my God.
Face paint, the whole 9. I'll pick you up on the way.
All right. It is on the way up there. That's hilarious. No, true, though.
That would
like,
be ridiculous.
Barry Bonds, and, like, Barry Bonds is so good, too. Like, I don't know, man. I don't care how – it would take 3 Big Poppies to do what Barry Bonds did, and Big Poppy's in.
It's actually his birthday today, too, so happy birthday, Barry.
Happy birthday, Barry. I hope you're at your big house in the Bahamas just chilling.
Wherever he's at. Is he still with the Marlins?
I have no clue.
Neither. I haven't seen him in a minute.
But yeah, my number 2 is Jose Altuve. I can't remember if I said that or not. But my number 3, I can't remember if you told me this was yours too, but it's Ketel Marte. He's a second baseman, but he, on a terrible team like the Diamondbacks, he does whatever he's asked. Kind of mixes up, plays center, plays shortstop. He's awesome on MLB The Show. If you don't have him, you need to get him. But he's a switch hitter. He's a tough out. He slugs well. He had an MVP season, or he was like 3rd or 4th in MVP voting, probably 3 or 4 years back. He's just one of those guys that's really consistent, flies under the radar. A lot of people might not even have heard of him, but he's really good.
Yeah, and it's the consistency. He's been doing it for a while. I think it was like 4 years ago. He had like an OPS plus of like 145, which anything plus, that means 100 is a baseline. So 100 is a good player. He was at 145. So he played out of his mind that year, but he plays out west. He plays for the Diamondbacks, and nobody ever talks about him. Unless you play MLB The Show, he's a dog.
Right. Exactly.
He's the guy you want in your lineup. They come out with a high diamond Ketel Marte card, go ahead and pick it up because he might have 60 power on there, and he's going to hit absolute ding-dongs.
Yeah, definitely.
The park can't hold that that glitchy swing.
No shot.
I figured that our top three would be the same. I think 4 on out will probably be a little different. Maybe the same guys, just maybe different orders. 4 for me is one of the most electric guys in baseball right now, and it's Jazz Chisholm. He is power, speed. He's got the swag. He just does his own thing.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's from the Dominican, maybe one of those guys.
He's from the Bahamas.
He just plays different. Okay.
Yeah. He's from Nassau. So, I mean, that definitely fits his vibe, too, because, like, he's just
definitely
cool and collected all the time and just gets lit. Like, really fun to watch play.
Yeah, he's one of the guys. He's already said it. Like, he doesn't care what you think about him. He's just playing the game to have fun.
Yeah,
and I love that.
Yeah, definitely. My number 4 is Gleyber Torres. I think, he kind of streaky this year. Like, he'll hit really well and then he won't hit well. And, I feel like it would be tough being on a team with all these older guys and, everybody kind of gets shifted around, like with how it's, with the lineup and stuff. So it's probably tough to kind of get in a flow, for a guy like him. But I think he is a guy that if he did get in a flow, like, watch out. I mean, he could be one of the best offensive second basemen in the league. And playing second for him is just way easier. Like, he looks way more natural than at short. So it just totally changed his game. So I just think he's that guy. Maybe not for what he's done, but what he's capable of. That's why he's so high on my list. Just because the dude could, like, swing the bat.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say he's my number 5. A lot of people, like, if you're not really in the know with the Yankees, there's a lot of pressure playing shortstop for the Yankees. And he's not that guy. He's your second baseman. And his numbers playing second, even last year when he would play second and somebody else would come in and play short, his offensive numbers went up. He's much better defensively. And changing the hitting coaches helped him a ton, too. He's one of the guys where our hitting coach last year kind of wanted everybody to go deep into counts and try to work walks. And the guy this year just says, hit strikes hard.
Yep.
They're throwing strikes. You sit on a pitch and you just try to drive it. And he's one of those guys that's thriving in this. You see it, his numbers. I think he's got like an 800 OPS this year, which is very high for a second baseman.
Yeah.
But he's just settling in. Like you said, he's a Yankee second baseman now. He doesn't have to worry about if he's playing third, short, or second this year. He's the second baseman.
Oh, yeah. It's really been fun to watch, too. Like, I feel like he's got to have learned from DJ and Josh Donaldson. Like, those dudes have to be fun to, like, play with and, like, watch operate, because they're just, like, some of the best hitters of, like, our time to do it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's got to be cool. But so let's see, my
5. Yeah, number
is
5.
A guy. Yeah, is a guy that I really don't know much of anything about. Let's see, I don't even know his first name. His name is Andres Jimenez. He plays for Cleveland Guardians, and the dude rakes, plain and simple. He's hitting 304, which is extremely high. And let's see what he's slugging, 8-something. 853. So for a second baseman, for people who don't know, OPS is an important offensive stat because your on-base percentage and your slugging percentage added together. And anything over 800 is very exceptional. So think of, like, in modern era baseball, if somebody's hitting 300, compare that, like, for the olden days, like, we were like, okay, if you're hitting over 300, you're a good hitter. Now, if you have a OPS over 800, it's the same thing. Like, if you see somebody who has a career OPS of 800 or higher, they might deserve a vote for, like, the Hall of Fame. Just like, if you have a batting average over 300. So this guy plays for a low market team. They're kind of in the hunt for a wild card. And he's raking, like just straight up, no way around it, is raking, and that's why he's so high on my list. Like an offensive second baseman is like a cheat code.
Yeah, and like you said, he's not talked about. He's also young too. I think he's like 22 or 23. So
yeah,
this is one of his first years in the pros. I hadn't really heard of him either until this year, and really haven't paid any attention to him just because he plays in Cleveland. It was right before the podcast where we were like, "Who is this guy?"
Yep,
like he is playing out of his mind. And then you check and he's only 23. So
23.
Maybe this is just the start of him. Yeah, he's hidden in Cleveland, so nobody knows about him.
Exactly. I mean, he only played 68 games last year and 49 games in 2020. So, pretty new. He actually came up with the Mets, believe it or not. I didn't know that. Pretty cool. Pretty cool little factoid. But
that is so cool to always see where guys came from.
Yeah. I like seeing the trades, man. That's like my favorite thing. Like, how Gleyber Torres came from the Cubs, in that trade, and that stuff is always interesting to me.
And then we just signed Chapman. 3 months later.
Thanks, Cubs.
Which it worked out for both parties.
Yeah,
they won. They got a ring, and we got some prospects that's put us back on the map. But 6 for me is Jake Cronenworth, another guy. We're going to say it over and over. There's another guy that plays out west. Nobody talks about him because he's not in one of these big markets. He's just kind of the dog that's stuck in the Padres lineup that's kind of keeps rowing that boat.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been just so consistent. Like, I think this is his second year in the league, and he's got like 800 OPS in both years. So that's super impressive. You just hope he can string it together. Like, we saw Ozzie do something similar his first 2 or 3 seasons, and now he's just kind of declined some. So maybe he'll keep it up.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, he's just a good lefty bat. Like, he's solid, plays good D, hits it. I mean, it's really all you can ask for. My 6th is Ozzie. I just think he's so athletic. He hits from both sides, which is like a plus for me. Like, I think that's so important because you have that matchup. And, like, he never really has to sit. Like, there's never – like, yeah, he's better from the right side, but, like, he still doesn't really hurt you that much from the left side. Like, he's not as good, but he still doesn't hurt you as bad. But his defense and, like, his base running ability is really good. And I think he's kind of a leader in the dugout, too. So I think he's a pretty valuable player. I mean, I know he's coming second in Gold Glove voting a lot, and he comes close to the Silver Slugger, every other year. So he's, I think he definitely deserves to be up there in the conversation, especially in the National League.
Yeah, we've been high on him forever. Like, I remember it was like MLB The Show 2018, and we probably bought 300 or 400 of his common card or bronze card. As soon as it came out, we're like, this guy is going to be good. And then he was really good. And now I do feel like he's declined a little, but he's still good. Like you said, you just plug him in the lineup, and like, it is what it is. He's going to play great defense. He's pretty fast, and there's no matchup problems there. Like, he hits better against lefties, but he's not awful against righties.
Yeah.
And what didn't he lead the league
last year he had
extra base hits?
30 home runs. He led the league in extra base hits, or maybe got past like at the very end, and then had like 106 RBIs last year too. So, I mean, the production's there. It's just, how long can he do it? Can he be consistent? Like, he's hurt now. I think it's one of the first times he's been hurt long term in his career. So, I mean, I wouldn't really hold him for that. I mean, that's just something that happens.
Yep, you're playing 162 games a year.
Just a solid player.
7 for me is Andre Jimenez.
Yeah.
So we've already talked about him enough. Young guy. Hopefully he keeps raking.
Yeah. My 7th is a guy we've talked about too, is Jazz Chisholm. I mean, he's just electrifying. I think he still has some more to prove. I think he's a pretty valuable player. I mean, I know he's coming second in Gold Glove voting a lot, and he comes close to the Silver Slugger, every other year. So he's, I think he definitely deserves to be up there in the conversation, especially in the National League. Yeah. But I mean, he's definitely on the come up. Like I could definitely see him being in the top 3 like within the next year or two.
I think he has the biggest upside of anybody else. Like all of the younger guys, I think he's one of those like Acuna type players to where just his energy, which I think they're probably close to the same age, but still he's new to the scene. I think so. His energy, I think he could be like that spark plug in a lineup.
Yeah, definitely.
But 8 for me is Ozzy Albies, so he's right there.
Yeah. My 8th is Cronenworth. We've already talked about him. I mean, just a solid lefty bat. Gets the job done. Exceptional at times, average at times, but I think he's more exceptional than he is average. And I mean, he's part of the reason why they're good. Like they have a tough lineup with Eric Hosmer, and when they have Tatis and Machado. I mean, it's one of the best infields in the league.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So after him, let's see, my 9th is Jose Polanco. He's a guy, I feel like he's been around a while. I'm not really sure how old he is exactly.
He's got to be in his 30s.
He's one of those that he's just you always hear his name in like hits or extra base hits. Like he's just always there, always good. I don't know. Like he's another switch hitter. Kind of plays wherever he's needed, but is probably a second baseman. I had to put him up there just because of his production. Like he's always at the top of the list.
Yeah. I thought we were only going to 8.
Oh, were we? Well, he's an honorable mention then.
Yeah, so this would be honorable mentions, which he definitely deserves a spot.
That's
like he's just one of those natural hitters. Like he's just a guy that just has a knack for it. Another switch hitter. He's just a cool guy to watch. He stinks on defense.
Oh, terrible.
And he's not really fast either, but he just hits it.
Yeah.
Another one, Tommy Edman.
Looking up his
we got to
name,
mention
which is
him.
why I got tripped up on our Elite 8. But yeah, he's 29, so he's done it for a while.
It's Jorge. I think you called him Jose in the beginning. I want to Jorge Polanco. Stands coming in.
That's my bad. I was looking up his age. I was focused on the wrong things.
Popping your tires. Tommy Edman deserves a spot too, an honorable mention. He's got a lot of dog in him too. Switch hitter, like a pretty prototypical leadoff guy. Gets on base, he's going to score.
Yeah. Yeah, steals a lot of bases. I mean, he's another reason why they've been good. The Cardinals have been good for a while. And I think another guy that deserves a shout out is Jeff McNeil. Like dude just rakes. Like he just shows up, hits the ball. He's the ugliest guy in the park every day. I mean, that's a tough position to play.
Edman's a guy that kind of gets snubbed on stats just because like his average isn't super high. Like I think he's hitting like 250. His OPS is pretty low in like the 600s. But if you draw a walk and then you steal second, that's the exact same as hitting a double.
Exactly.
So, stuff like that. And then he gets into scoring position, and then he's got Arenado and Goldschmidt behind him. If they just get a base hit, he's scoring. So guys like that can change the game without necessarily jumping off the stat sheet at you.
Yeah.
And Jeff McNeil's another one.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. That was my bad.
No, you're
Publicly
good.
apologize.
You're good. It's going to happen.
Go ahead.
Have you ever heard the Jeff McNeil story where he like didn't play baseball until he was like 17?
I did hear that.
He was like a golfer.
Yeah, crazy. They probably kicked him out of the club for being so ugly. What'd you say?
I said, like, how do you golf for so long and then you just pick up baseball and now you're in the pros?
Yeah, that's
not an easy transition.
I'm like, how is that real? You know?
But I think that's pretty much everybody. I don't really have anybody else I want to talk about or that would be worth mentioning, really. Max Muncy, maybe, if he didn't stink for the last year.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
That's pretty much it. Trey Turner, if he actually played second, he'd be number 1 on the list.
Yeah, I still think he's behind Dansby, but that's just me. just me. It is what it is, man.
Let's talk Tennessee.
Yeah, give me the Tennessee scoop.
Some weird stuff. So we remember Tennessee threw themselves under the bus trying to get rid of Jeremy Pruitt. So now the NCAA is coming out and said Tennessee recruiting violations, 18 violations under Jeremy Pruitt, including nearly $60,000 in illegal benefits for recruits and players. Which, reminder, they did this to themselves. They threw Jeremy Pruitt under the bus so they could get out of his contract, so they could bring in somebody else because he stinks. Also, would anybody have ever checked to see if Tennessee was playing players? Like, what were they,
No.
6-6 the whole time Jeremy Pruitt was there, or less? Nobody would have ever checked them.
Like $60,000. That's it.
Another thing, I don't know nothing. I don't know what these guys are getting paid, but if you're cheating, $60,000 ain't enough.
That's it.
That's not going to get it done.
Come on, bro. What the heck? Like, if you're gonna do it, do it. Like, this is the University of Tennessee we're talking about here. Like, alleged football powerhouse, self-proclaimed. I mean,
Yeah, feels like 98.
Drop a milli on a guy. Like, what are we doing?
Mississippi State gave Cam Newton 5 times as much as that, and he didn't play a snap for him.
Yeah, he said
$60,000 is not going to cut it.
I don't know. I feel like it's just like a follow-up of like, hey, we acknowledge that y'all, filed this claim. Here's your slap on the wrist and public acknowledgement. Y'all don't have to pay Jeremy Pruitt whatever y'all owed him. Congratulations. Like,
yeah,
I don't
you can't
know,
fine them or suspend them or anything.
I just don't know how it works, but like, I mean, there's not even a reason to punish Tennessee anymore because like the Jeremy Pruitt and his wife aren't even affiliated.
Right.
So,
and it's legal now. Like, you can do it now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the people that are sitting in prison for marijuana when it's legal in their state now.
Right.
Like, you're wasting your time.
And like, I'm with that. Like, I just don't get it. I don't. There's no reason to punish the players there now and the coach who's like, they're working hard every day. They had nothing to do with that stuff before. That's the only thing where like the NCAA could be better, I think. Now, if it's like a major, like if it's like a major thing like Penn State with like Jerry Sandusky, like people's got to pay. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Sorry, but something like this, who cares? Move along, play football. Get beat by Alabama again.
Yeah, I mean, again, we 20 years in a row. 18.
Yeah. Twitter hasn't seen Tennessee beat Alabama yet. Twitter.
That's insane. We also had a banger of a UFC card, UFC London. If you didn't know it was happening, probably missed it because it started at 10 o'clock our time, I think, 11 o'clock our time. Yeah, so it goes like, I mean, it was over by, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 6 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yeah, I texted Braylon at like 7 because they were talking about it, and I was like, they were talking about Patty, and I was like, well, yeah, when does he fight? Has he already fought? Like, no way he fought this early, like, the sun's still up. They said, bro, it's over.
The whole thing's over. Yeah, it was weird. But I kind of like that. Like, you wake up, like we played softball all night Friday night, so then you kind of slept in Saturday, and then you wake up and like UFC's already on. And it was an awesome card, too. Anytime you have Meatball, Molly, McCann, and Patty on the same card, like, it's going to be electric. These two are unbelievable together. Drake put a parlay on them. He put like 1.5 million or something on it. It cashed. Both of them win. Oh, yeah. So there was a press conference, too, afterwards where Molly, he posted it and said, showing that he'd won. And Molly McCann was like messaging him like, hey, I just saw you got 1.5 mil. How about you throw me and Patty a Rolex? Like, we can we can make this deal. And she said that he was buying her one. And then in the press conference, she's like, hey, Champagne Poppy, like, how about I get a date? Like trying to shoot her shot with Drake. But she is awesome. She's mastered this spinning back elbow like I've never seen anybody else land it. She lands it in back-to-back fights. She landed it in the last one, knocked the girl out cold. She lands this one, and then the girl is just kind of out on her feet, and she just daps her up for about 10 seconds till the girl just gives up. And she jumps over the cage, takes off running. Five's Dave Portnoy just jumps from the octagon into his arms. He's catching her, like bouncing her in the air, and she's just going nuts. But that's awesome. She is electric, and you could just kind of see it, like the switch flip for her, to where most of her fights happened in the like COVID era, so she didn't really have that feel. But then going to London, like after her fight, you can just see it in her eyes where she's like, "Oh, I'm going to be a champion. Like this crowd is my element." And she's like, girls don't hit girls like that. 125-pound guys don't hit guys like that. She is putting people to sleep. So she's going to be a problem. I think she is seriously the real deal. And Patty's the same way. He kind of started off like slow in the first round, and then second round he ends up choking the guy out. And he had told him before the fight. The other guy had said if he wins, he's going to twerk on Patty. And Patty said if he wins, he's going to teabag him like Modern Warfare 2. And he did. He chokes the guy out. He stands up. He drops it like it's hot. Twice. Turns around, daps the guy up. And then about that time, he jumps over the cage and runs over there. And Molly again, with a fifth of liquor in her hand, chugging it, 15, 20 minutes after she's fought. She grabs him, puts him on her shoulders, and she's running around, like prancing him around like he's the king. But they were awesome. And then Patty, dude, after that, Patty like breaks down during his post like fight interview where he's talking about, first he brings up this kid who had passed away from cancer, and he's talking about like, yeah, he's the real warrior. And then he brings up one of his best friends killed himself like on Thursday or Friday, like right before he fights. So he went off talking about like men's mental health, and it was very like heartbreaking, like almost brought you to tears. He was just super serious about the whole situation. Right. And then once he gets out of the cage, you can see it finally hits him, and he just breaks down. He's crying, and they're just like basically dragging him out of there. But I mean, he's awesome. Both of those people they're going to sell tickets forever.
Oh yeah,
they're just that definitely electric.
Yeah, that's awful. I mean, honestly, like fighting, or I mean, doing anything, like leaving the house after something like that, like after your friend, takes his own life, like that'd be awful. I mean, to even just come out and fight and be in public is something that is notable, and then put on a performance like that, like it's incredible. I mean, he'll come down, like if he just keeps being himself, like he'll probably be one of the greats, pretty quick. Oh, yeah.
Him, both of them, and they're just like a perfect tag team.
I know he's funny, friends. Like he's hysterical.
Oh, he's hilarious.
He's himself.
And rest of the card might have been a little bit of a letdown in the main event with Tom Aspinall. Everybody was kind of looking forward. That was the main event, so that was the one everybody was kind of looking forward to. Two heavyweight dudes. And Aspinall throws like a kick into his stomach, and when he goes to step back, something happens with his knee. He just hits the ground like in the first round. Oof. So it's back-to-back weeks for the UFC where the main event's been stopped due to just like weird freak injuries. So that sucks, but it just kind of is what it is. Both of those guys will probably end up getting big fights again, and we'll probably see them again pretty soon. Hermanson won in pretty boring fashion. After the fight, or as soon as he knows he's going to win in the last, like, there's 2 minutes left in the fight, and he's just running from the guy, basically. Like, he's just backpedaling side to side, like, just dodging the guy. And eventually he gets to the end, and the guy just gives him double birds, drops him an FU. Double birds right in the face. And then he mocks him, like starts running around the ring mocking him. But Hermansen's just kind of like, hey, man, like I won the fight. Like it just is what it is. Then we had a pretty sad one with Gustafsson getting knocked out. I mean, it's just weird seeing these guys just get old. Like he's a dude that went toe-to-toe with John Jones and would just eat punches from John Jones and like it was nothing. And now he gets knocked out like 1 minute into the first round. Where Daniel Cormier was tweeting about it, and he basically just said, look, once your chin's gone, you can't compete in this anymore. If you can't eat a punch, you can't compete anymore. So he's like, dude, time to hang it up. Like, you've had a great career, but it's over. It's a wrap. But overall,
it's got to be tough because, I mean, I feel like in fighting, like, you can take those punches until you can't. Like, there's no, like, buffer. You know what I mean? Like, you just see these dudes, like, just get old so quick.
Yeah, because, I mean, you can't take a punch. Like, he got hit, and he just collapsed. It was over. But, I mean, he's one of the best that never held a title just because the area he came up. Anybody that was there when John Jones was there, if you held the title, you were pretty impressive.
Yeah, you're a dog.
Yeah. But it just sucks. Yeah. Other than that, UFC being in London is electric. They need to do more things like that. Anytime Patty and Molly fight, they need to be in London.
Yeah. I always thought it's cool. Like, I don't know. I think, like, the London crowds are cool. It really doesn't matter what sport. Like, they're always super lit, you know, and super loud. But like them having like their own like fight in front of them, like that would be super cool. Like that would be cool just to go to and see.
Yeah, it almost seems like there was no rules there. Like Molly's running around with, literally she has a fifth of Hallerhead in her hand, just drinking it straight out of the bottle, and they would pan to certain spots. Yeah, and. Like one time they panned to a guy in the crowd and he's got the Patty the Batty wig on and he's just smoking weed just right there. Like the camera's zooming up on him and he's just smoking weed just right in front of the cameraman. Like nobody cared. It's just you can tell it's a different world over there on the other side of the pond.
Man, that's bucket list. That's bucket list for the CMB Sports Show. We're gonna make an appearance in London one day.
A show from London, live show from London.
That'd be awesome.
We're going to start saving up some money.
Yeah. Maybe get a couple donations.
Yeah, hey, if you want to donate a trip to the next UFC London, me and Cole will take it.
Shout out. Even when like the Red Sox Yankees had that series over there, I thought that was super cool. Just because it was different. The field was weird. The dimensions were weird, but
wasn't it played in a soccer stadium? The stands were packed out.
It was super loud.
I don't like when other sports go over there. Like I don't like when the NFL goes over there.
No, I don't like when the NFL goes. The only thing I like. Do what?
But like the UFC, they fit there. Like that makes sense.
Oh, right. I like the only thing that's good about the NFL going there is you get that game at like 9:30 and then you get the games at 12. So like you can catch a game before church, go to church, and then all the other games start. So that's the only cool part of it.
Adds another time slot.
The other the NFL games, but I mean it doesn't. It's always like the Jaguars and somebody, so it's pretty irrelevant.
Yeah, definitely is. But that's a pretty good show.
Yeah. I back in the ham for this one, so back in Seatown. So that's why you got the different backdrops and whatnot. Got the lesser equipment. Couldn't bring the travel bus with me for the production. But No, I think we did. I think we did good. It was a good one. Man, I love the we got we're on TikTok now. Man, we got YouTube. Of course, we're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So check us out on all those. Definitely check us out on TikTok and YouTube. Get the likes and subscribes and whatnot. And gonna definitely try to put some more content out there for you guys. But it's been fun. 23 episodes. I feel like that's a huge milestone for us. I'm sure a lot of people would think that we'd quit before now, but no, man, we're just still yapping. That's what we do. And we love it. We love you guys. Let's have a week this week. Let's have a good week.